So immediately what it makes you ask is, what makes for a great character? And that, again, is the eternal question. But if you look at it, there's some things we can identify. I would say these are the three most important things to think about when thinking about your character. It starts really with complexity. I hope that's the right word, complejidad. All right, complexity. So complexity of character it's actually a pretty simple concept, but it's something we were talking about very much yesterday. So Jorge and I were working yesterday. We're looking at a project called Duality, a very promising premise, very interesting premise. We run immediately into the question of, who is this character? What is so interesting about this character? Well, for interest, the immediate thing that you notice is if there is contradiction and complexity in the character. So look at Tony Soprano. Everybody always refers to Tony Soprano, one of the greatest characters that ever existed in TV. What is it about him that we think of when we say he's interesting? Okay, he's brutish, he's an animal, he's a killer. He's insensitive, yet he's in therapy. He's suffering, he's anxious, he's very emotional, he's very sensitive. He's both animal and sensitivo, right? That alone is such a fascinating contradiction that we immediately think great character. He is very loyal to his friends, the most loyal guy in the world to his friends, but if they cross him, he'll kill them, right? Loyalty, yet a murderousness. Again, it's just interesting to us because it has contradiction. And it's the same with his family. Tremendous loyalty and love, almost unusual empathy and love for his wife and kid. But if he finds out she's betrayed her, he would beat her. So that is what serves as interest generally in character, is simply taking a character who has one extreme and another extreme and putting them together. Always when you're looking at characters and creating characters, try to find that element of contradiction. That's what we were looking for yesterday in great part. This is Michael Scott. This is a great comic character. Now, it's important to look, he's just one of the eternal great characters. A great actor, a great comedian doing naturalistic performance. The complexities of this character were what made him funny. He's a dumb guy. He really is. He's not educated, but he's pretty good at his job. He's actually a very good salesman. It was always kind of interesting how he would kind of blunder around but then be very good at selling paper. That contradiction made him interesting. With comic characters, very often, what you find, the key is a contradiction between the way they think they're coming across and the way they're actually coming across. So with Michael Scott, he thinks he's very funny and charming and well-liked. Everybody thinks of him as an idiot. They don't think he's funny. He's not well-liked. That's immediately you start to laugh because of that contradiction. If you look at the great comic characters from movies, do you know Inspector Clouseau, the French detective? Yes. Okay, so what does he think? He thinks he's a mastermind. He thinks he's coming across as a mastermind, but he's a buffoon falling over the table, etc. Thinks he's coming across brilliant, actually coming across stupid. Austin Powers, right? Thinks he's coming across sexy, baby, right? But he's actually kind of repulsive with the bad teeth. So that contradiction between how he thinks he's coming across and actually coming across, key to comic characters always. Michael Scott is a really good example of what is essential for a character to survive in American TV. Okay, there was a giant change that happened with Michael Scott's character from season 1 to season 2 of The Office. Here's what happened. Michael Scott is based on a character named David Brent, an English character from the BBC show, The Office. So the BBC had this brilliant comedy with Ricky Gervais as the star. But the English comedy, they typically like anti-heroes in their comedy. And by anti-hero, I just mean somebody who is not a good person. You're laughing at the person because he's a jerk, right? That's funny in England. It's funny to us too. But in America, you cannot sustain a show for 100 episodes if the guy is just a jerk. And so what happened was, they created the American Office. Michael Scott, Steve Carell, based his performance, the writers based the writing on the BBC Ricky Gervais character. He was a complete jerk. They did a mini season 1, 7 episodes, and the ratings were not so hot. It was okay. It was on the bubble, as we say. Maybe it's going to get canceled. Maybe it'll get picked up. The executives sat down with Greg Daniels, the creator, and they said, no way is this show going to last 100 episodes. It doesn't work for American audiences because there's not enough warmth. There's not enough love. There has to be a subtext of love. And this you will find if you look at every single hit American comedy, whether it's a family show or a workplace show, there's always a subtext of loving family. So even if it's an office, basically they're functioning as this is my real family. Taxi, if you watch Taxi, one of the first great workplace shows, you'll notice Tony Danza, the boxer, he's got a fight tonight. The other people in the taxi stand go to see the fight, to support him. What are they doing? Why are they so supporting of this guy? Because they're family. He's like our brother. That emotion of family is essential for the success of any long-running comedy in America, whether it be a family show or an office show. What's very interesting is to look at a show like Arrested Development. That was a show about a family that did not love each other, and it failed. It was canceled. People forget that it failed on Fox. It was picked up again by Netflix for a niche second run, but in fact, it did not succeed because even though it was a family, it didn't feel like a family. So this character changed. If you watch season 1 and then go watch season 2 of The Office, you can feel it completely. Michael Scott goes from a guy who doesn't care about anybody but himself to a guy who's actually the reason he's trying to make his jokes, etc., he's not an egomaniac, he just loves everybody in his office so much that he's trying to impress them. He wants them to be his friends. And so he gets this vulnerability and likability that causes the character to last for 100 episodes. Carrie Mathison from Homeland, I just think she's one of the great characters of modern TV. We talked a lot about her yesterday. And here you really see the elements of a great character. Study this show. Okay, what is so great about Carrie Mathison? So many things. Complexity, for sure, right? She's, she has a masculine courage. In the opening scene, she's driving her car as fast as she can through the streets of Baghdad. She leaps out. She bribes a guard. She talks to a terrorist trying to get the answers from him. He won't tell her. She threatens him. He tells her a secret. Guards come and grab her by the hair and yank her back, and she's trying to get back. Very courageous. But in almost the next scene, she's getting ready to go out for the night. She puts on sexy outfits, etc. She's very feminine. So that alone makes her very interesting. She's not a bull dyke, right? She's very sexually confident, very feminine, but has the masculine qualities. So that combination instantly makes her interesting.